Hello and welcome to a City Voices interview with Peter Jampel and Catherine Fazio. Peter is the CEO of a company called Baltic Street Into Action, and they're an arts enterprise for people with mental health issues. And let's get right into it. Hi, Peter.
Hey, Dan. Nice to see you again.
Hi,
Thanks.
Catherine.
Hi, Danny. Hi, how are you doing?
All right, all right. So Baltic Street Into Action. Who wants to start about that?
Peter, you can do it.
Okay. So Baltic Street Into Action is a not-for-profit 501c3 whose mission is promoting innovative programs in community mental health. And it and its predecessor organizations have supported the arts and therapy for many years, and have seen the way in which the arts promotes recovery, resilience, and health. And I'm a music therapist, and I'm a lucky guy because I have had the opportunity to bring music to people's lives and create amazing opportunities for renewal, discovery, meaning, and a sense of empowerment. And that's what our organization promotes. Not just the use of the arts in therapy, but the development of effective programming for people who are in recovery.
You want to add to that, Catherine?
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity that Peter has developed for people recovering using the arts in healthcare. I use poetry, and behind me is a painting I have. And for many years, the peers have always used the arts. But Peter has been working very hard to develop a program that will give paid internships to peers when we, and he's developing standards, and I believe in it because I have felt and found that there is recovery, meaningful work up down the path. And when peers help peers, it's always a good idea.
Now we're in COVID, obviously, and is there a plan to make this some of the programming virtual, and how can that be done?
Catherine, do you want to start with that and I'll follow up?
Sure. Well, we've been doing a lot of development in that area, collaborating with many organizations that do believe that the arts is a way of accessing one's best skills, giving hope. So virtually, it's happening. We can, I've been trying to do it with tap dance, and I've done it with poetry. And so it's possible because in this time of isolation, we use the tools that we have. The biggest thing and the most important thing, I think, is that we all together, as a unified voice, show and work together that mental health consumers, they have a purpose. They can use their skills, get over barriers if they're shown and given a model, a path with some calling that speaks to them, meaningful work. So I think it can be done. Relationships can form. I've seen it with us in spiritual groups.
I would just add that telehealth is now part of the delivery system of services to people in a wide range of settings out of necessity. And we just finished a presentation at New York University, of which I'm a faculty member in the music therapy program, between art therapy, drama therapy, and music therapy, talking about the impact that COVID-19 has had on the delivery of services and how the arts have played a meaningful role in telehealth service delivery. And there's, there's an upside to it in a certain sense, and there's a downside to it. The upside is that a lot of people who used to struggle to get into sessions for various reasons, due to isolation, social withdrawal, have greater access, given if they have access to a computer, which is sometimes a problem. So it has increased the ease of connecting to some hard to reach people. The downside is, especially as a musician, playing music in the same room with someone, there's just nothing like it. And we've adapted to the time lags and delays in Zoom and other online platforms, and have made the best of it, but it's not the same. But I think we have coped effectively with the reality of telehealth services, and I think we're making some strides in improving the quality of services.
It's not just music therapy, though. It's like a wide array of arts programming, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I've been using poetry and working with a person who's a poetry therapist, and showing also that, and I've done presentations before. So I've used poetry as the medium, and that's easy to do online or virtually.
And the creative arts therapies work together collaboratively to create more integrated and nuanced multiple level creative arts therapy platforms. For instance, in my music therapy class this week, we had a presentation about music therapy at NYU Langone with very medically challenged children. And one of the cases presented had a music therapist and an art therapist working with the mother of a 16-year-old daughter who was in the last stages of her life. And they came together to write an album with an art cover that reflected various aspects of her interests and her passion for music. And the art cover was done that with the mother's input to also create another dimension of how she saw her relationship with her daughter. It was very powerful. So the arts work together, much as a theater company might work together, where the dancers and the actors and the musicians and the costume designers and the makeup artists all play a role in creating a multidimensional experience.
What would you like to see in terms of like your own personal creation of telehealth arts programming? What would you like to see, and is there anything in the works toward this telehealth system?
Well, very specifically, what I would like to see is the development of a training program for peers who have had personal experience with the arts as contributing to their recovery, and developing a virtual training program now, which hopefully in the future, once we've moved through the acute stages of this pandemic, could become integrated with in-person classes, in-person training, internships, and job development. And right now, I'm in the process of working with several people in the field of mental health to design this training program. We did it for a year at Baltic Street, and we had learned quite a bit about what it entails and how to deliver it. And we started an internship program at Woodhull Hospital that was suspended because of the COVID restrictions. And I think the time of creating a virtual training program for what we're calling peer arts specialists is really within a not too distant future. And so Baltic Street into Action is behind this in both the development and the conceptualization of it, and then in the actual implementation of what it would look like and how people would be having career advancements in terms of becoming more employable by having this specialization to offer in a variety of settings.
You want to chime in, Catherine, or?
Well, I keep, through my own history with working with the arts and using them, my minor was in dance, and I was tap dancing for the veterans, which is people who could benefit from this population that could benefit from the trauma and the isolation. But with the dancing, many universities don't have the curriculum even for dance therapy anymore. I know Hunter doesn't. And so for me, it brings to mind that it's a good time to train people, because some people, dance works. Dance is almost spiritual, like a religion. It's really, it's a movement. We want to move. We want to move. People move. Animals move. We're not supposed to be in this isolation, and it saddens me that big universities have decided not to teach these, for professionals to come out and use the arts in hospitals or settings or other settings as a rehabilitative tool. So I'm happy that Peter and I are collaborating with dance professionals, music professionals, and I serve on staff as the network specialist and the job developer for Baltic Street into Action. I have a passion, a very deep passion and lifetime goal now that I try to help younger peers who did not have the luck I have had in my life in learning the skills I did. And some people don't have the tools. They don't know the path. I am behind this wholeheartedly with businesses. And right now we are in a fundraising mode. We want to be supported. And there are people out there who do realize that we have not been on par with other disabilities, and we need to be unified and show that there's health. There's not just stigma that we have to, but there's actual skills we can bring into the community and the arts based into recovery.
Okay, Catherine, you mentioned reaching out to young people, mental health survivors. Is there an effort by Baltic Street into Action to reach young people? How important is that to your mission? Or are most of the people you work with adults, older adults?
Well, I could say a little bit about it. I think I can, at least from my understanding. Anyone, Peter was working with younger people, anyone that is some a specific discipline in the arts seems to be calling them. And I would say that you have to start somewhere. And younger people, well, you know, I'm a senior now and I've had a history with hospitalizations and such like that. So when I see younger people, people who, you know, they're lost as far as where to start. So, you know, if someone calls us to get involved, to get an internship, they have to be internship ready and probably age appropriate for sure. There are guidelines, but this is, I would say we have to bring this information out to the public. Let parents know let families know about it. Let people know that this is a path. And so I wouldn't say, no, Peter, you want to add to that?
Yeah. We just had a board meeting of Baltic Street into Action, and there were two very specific programs that the board is considering that would benefit children and adolescents. And I'd like to tell you, I don't think I mentioned this to you yet, Catherine. The meeting was last week. One program would support impoverished families that could not afford music therapy services, and basically would allow an underserved family, we would help support that family's cost in terms of being able to provide services. And these are special needs children, special needs adolescents who are predominantly from minority communities who could not otherwise afford services. So one of the proposals that we're currently considering is to support services for one of those children. The other proposal that we're considering deals with creating a mobile music therapy recording studio that could reach out to youth at risk and be able to increase access to music and music therapy services in underserved communities. And we're currently investigating that. One of our board members is actively involved in both of these programs, and we are extremely interested in those services. So there's two examples of Baltic Street into Action specifically considering services for both special needs children and youth at risk in underserved communities.
Okay, so what is your capacity? I mean, how many people can you serve all at once?
That depends on the success of our fundraising efforts. Obviously, you know, we have some funds and we can make an initial contribution that would at least get the ball rolling. But, you know, we need to have an active fundraising effort to sustain these initiatives and to create momentum. So we are right now in the middle of a revised fundraising campaign, which again, Catherine, I'll talk to you more about.
Okay.
That would involve calling large corporations in Brooklyn and Staten Island, which is the two boroughs that our current bylaws allow us to provide services to, and we will identify these corporations, and then our fundraising team will call all of the community relations people or people who deal with contributions to not-for-profits. And we're hopeful that we'll be able to solicit some donations, even though we are realistic that the vast majority will say no. We don't really need more than, you know, a few to say yes to be able to continue these initiatives that we're developing.
I also want to say that money is round for a reason. It goes round and round. I've done this because I've been a network specialist in business for a long time. I know what it is. I can't handshake anymore with big companies or small companies, but my relationships, many of them I still have, because people they will buy people. People like people. And the thing is that this, this idea of helping people who are coping with a serious challenge, who've been underdogs and underserved for so long and really not on par with the blind or other populations, which also come together, they coincide. I mean, I've worked with the blind and visually impaired. I was a rehabilitation teacher for the blind, as well as mental health, using a advocate and peer. So I know that shaking hands and looking at people and saying, and do you want to support mental health initiatives? A lot of people want to. True, COVID is here. A lot of businesses are suffering. That's not a secret. People are suffering in a lot of different ways. More alcoholism, more depression, not that much money, businesses are closing. We're all in the same boat. We are in a boat together. So we do what we can because we have a knowledge of mental health. All of us, we do. Many organizations that we talk to, and I know you do, Dan, I know you do, and the peers I know, I think that I know I want to help and bring it out. It's time. It's really time.
Yeah, I just one additional direction that the board is considering, which deals with alcoholism and substance abuse. Another proposal that we have actually voted to contribute funding support for is a program for graduates of a chemical abuse recovery program at Woodhull Hospital that we are actively engaged in discussions with about how to promote their community services for recovering alcoholics and drug abusers who've graduated from the program, and many of whom are superb musicians, and how to create a performance group that would meaningfully engage them and potentially serve as a source of referrals for programs like peer arts specialists with people who've specialized in working in addiction treatment services. And this is one of the areas of specialization that we are looking at in terms of how we can both support and promote recovery for people who are struggling with substance abuse issues and sometimes with coexisting mental health disorders, and also engage in the development of a first generation of peer specialists, of wonderful musicians who potentially could turn their lives around in terms of employment and provide services in music and the arts to other recovering people with substance abuse issues.
Can you talk about that issue of the effort to create a type of peer specialist that focuses on the arts?
Yeah. There's, again, the world of the arts is a rich and diverse one. Catherine is a poet. Catherine is a tap dancer. Catherine is a music lover. Catherine has written songs, which is, typical of many people who love the arts. They love many art forms and bring that actively into their lives. And a peer arts specialist is somebody who we see as bringing, multiple dimensions to their work with people to provide services, depending on the interests of the individuals that they work with. So when we look at the peer arts specialist program, we're looking at a range of services and experiences that would be relevant in terms of curriculum, training, placement, and employment.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to add with myself, and I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not. There's a lot of skill and talent out there, and I went through it because I needed to metabolize pain. I had to have some vehicle, some way to make sense of the unimaginable suffering and loneliness and stigma, because I did nothing wrong except for get sick. So to metabolize that pain and sort of work in a way in which the family sort of realizes it's not just shame. There's also some way of recovery. You know, when I worked with the blind and visually impaired, there was this study, and what the outcome of the study was that blindness and visual impairment came out second to mental health and emotional disability, about a most feared disability. It was the most feared. People would project it onto everyone else's face because it was hard. No one understood it. So this is education. This is actually having someone be part of a family, a system, grow in it and giving them the option. So for me, metabolizing pain was very important.
Okay, so let's close with, I want to create a space now for you both to share anything you feel that hasn't been shared yet that you want this video to record.
Go ahead.
You want me to go? Okay. I want everybody, like a Matisse circle, to hold hands together, to walk and show, as we lobbyists politically, that we are here. And there is a way. You know, we're not to be discarded. We're to be reckoned with, to looked at. We're people. We're flowers. We will grow. Give us a chance. Give us some water. Peter.
You know, I go back with City Voices to its origins, and believed that the fathers and mothers of City Voices understood something about creating a forum for discussion, and how the written word took new meanings in terms of people's experiences, and telling stories, Danny, as we had talked about before, that telling stories is a powerful and important way of understanding each other and understanding the nuances and the subtle differences that each person's life offers. And so I believe in creating multiple forums for understanding how to tell these stories. And I firmly believe that Baltic Street into Action is based on these principles.
Thank you both so much for doing this interview. I'm gonna stop the recording now.